It's Tech Talk, only on the All Out Show.
All right.
Yeah, we're back. We were having technical difficulties. Now we have Noah Kulwin of Rico.net here to talk some tech talk with us. What's up, Noah?
Noah.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
We're fucking awesome. Thanks for calling up. And you have some information on hoverboards. That's that new shit. The little, they're basically like the little segways without the stick that people hold on to, right? Is that kind of it?
Yeah, basically. That's a pretty good way to describe it.
Is that the same is that the same type of mechanics it's using, the same type of technology as the Segway technology?
So it's similar. It's similar in difference. So as you said, like there's no stand, but instead the technical name that people use for them is self-balancing scooters. So the idea is that like you stand on it, and provided you can figure out how to balance your weight right, however you lean will determine what direction and what speed the board goes at.
Have you tried it yet? Are you any good at it, Noah?
Oh, I'm awful, which is why I don't try it very much, if at all.
They were saying like during Christmas, a lot of people were getting fucked up. Like there was a lot more injuries just because of these.
Well, I mean, to that, I would just direct you to Vine or World Star Hip Hop, because you can see everyone from like Mike Tyson to, I don't know, like thousands of random people completely wiping out on Christmas Day. It was pretty beautiful.
I kind of want to try that shit, but like a year ago, I pulled my neck just walking into the kitchen one day, and I was like, dude, if I fall off of that shit, it's gonna be a wrap, dude. And I don't have a lot of balance. So Noah, you said right now they're having there's some recalls, or what's going on? What's going on with some of these hoverboards right now?
So basically, the hoverboards have one really big problem. Just to get a little bit bigger, the hoverboards are manufactured in China in basically this massive set of factories, like more than 1,000 factories that kind of popped up almost overnight just to make hoverboards, because there's a new trend in America. And so there haven't really been people who were really watching closely just how safe these things were. And specifically, the big issue is in the batteries that are in the hoverboards. So in our smartphones, like the same kind of lithium batteries that we have in there, those are also in the hoverboards, except they're bigger. And the thing is like it's one thing to have a smaller battery in your smartphone. When that's in the hoverboard, if it gets rocked around, it can heat up and ultimately catch fire. And so in the U.S., there have been 42 different hoverboard fires. There are 10 in California alone, where I'm based. And there was one relatively recently, actually, in San Leandro in the Bay Area. So they are catching fire, both in sales and quite literally.
So are people getting burnt by this shit, or is it just kind of like they're fucking up their furniture from fires? Like, are people actually getting burns?
I honestly don't know if anybody has actually like died from it or anything, but there have been houses and apartment buildings that have burnt down because of that, because just left charging overnight. And you have places like airlines won't let people bring them on, and places like Amazon. A lot of big retailers are pretty strict, or at least they're trying to be more strict about the ones that they do sell. And some people, like one company, wants to start checking them and evaluating them for safety and quality, but it's just kind of a huge mess, to be honest.
Because is there like a hoverboard brand that's standing out that people need to get in? What's the high quality hoverboard versus the low quality hoverboard? Do you know that?
Well, I think the most popular ones, like the brand names that everyone sees, are Swagway and IO Hawk. And I'm not gonna, I'm not really endorsing any one brand or the other. But I think those two have been more commonly established as like okay ones, Swagway and IO Hawk.
Okay.
I think what's really funny, the one that stands out for a different reason, is Soulja Boy's hoverboard company.
Why is that?
Well, because Soulja Boy's hoverboard, he got in kind of a controversy last month involving it was like he got in a fight with a journalist, and there was a whole thing about it. It was really funny.
I didn't even know that shit. Believe it or not, I do not follow Soulja Boy, Noah.
Sorry.
I didn't even know that guy was still around. Honestly, I thought he was I thought he had moved on in life, but I guess he's still doing that shit.
He got a new song called Stephen Curry. So.
For real?
Yeah.
All right, yo, the crazy shit to me, Noah, is I thought when you said the fires, I always pictured them rolling down the street and then hitting a bump and that shit catching on fire. But it's the fires are happening from letting them charge.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing is I haven't seen when somebody sends me a YouTube video of a hoverboard exploding, that'd be wild. But the reality is that this is actually just it's much more subtle than that, I guess. Or I mean, it's not so subtle when your house catches on fire, but it's not like a danger in riding. Though, of course, there are lots of people who say that hoverboards are pretty unsafe. People should wear helmets using them and so on. The same way they say when you should skateboard or bike or whatever.
To me, this is even worse because, if you're cruising around the streets and your shit catches on fire, you just jump off that bitch, let that shit, ghost ride that motherfucker, let it run into a curb and then, stomp it out. But, if you're asleep and you got that shit next to your phone charging, you can burn the whole fucking place down.
Yeah, I mean, that's the scariest thing about him. So
is there a way for...
would I buy one for myself? I don't really want to spend a few $100s on something that I probably wouldn't use that much, but if I were to try, I'm not sure I'd feel comfortable even getting one at this stage, just because I don't know. I'm not so fully comfortable with getting any particular brand yet. There's just so much that's unknown.
Is there anything you could do, shake that bitch to see if it's if you hear a rattle, does that mean it? Is there any telltale signs that your shit might catch on fire, or is it just try to stay away from the cheap ones? That they
I would just try and stay away from a cheap one. I don't know about any warning signs necessarily. I would recommend, I think a really smart thing to do would be to, whichever one you get, look for whatever, I guess, go to Amazon, see, the big retailers, the most mainstream stores that sell them, trust the vendor necessarily more than the brand, and feel free to call them and ask about it. Even if it's a big box store or something, genuinely speaking, if you're going to drop that kind of, if you're going to drop a few $100s on a hoverboard of some sort, I think it'd make the most sense to make sure that, you really know what you're getting.
Noah Kulwin, Recode.net. Thank you so much for calling us up and letting us know about the motherfucking hoverboards.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me.
All right.
All right, you can go to Recode.net to follow more of Noah's writing. Thanks, man.
Yeah, good looking. This is the All Out Show on Shade 45.